Hey everybody, welcome to the Build Show. Steve Basic Architect here. I'm live from Amarillo, Texas. Look at this beauty here. We have our ranch project out here, and I thought this would make for a really good video. You can see here's the front of the house. We basically have a wing over here. That's the front door with a new front porch, and we have a wing here. See, the wing goes down, and then we have a 3-car garage here that gets fed. The driveway is going to come up here and turn in there. And we also have a driveway that comes up here and will feed into the barn that will go back. But this is a really interesting project in that it's kind of a series of buildings. So let's take a quick walk inside, and then we'll take a walk into the courtyard. So let's head on up. All right, so we're walking up here. We're coming in the front door. We're confronted with, we're going to have a nice big 15-foot sliding glass door that's 8 foot tall there that looks out onto that back courtyard. But basically come in here, we have this nice vaulted ceiling, fireplace, giant great room. And the dining space will be here between the doors. And then over here will be the kitchen. Now, down this hallway and down that wing you saw, there'll be a couple bedrooms there, 3 bedrooms for the kids, the laundry room, etc. And then the garage is in the back wing there. Off of the side here, you go through here, and there's a doorway at the end of the hallway, which is basically all master suite. So we have a master bedroom there. We have a walk-in closet straight ahead. And then the remaining portion of that wing is the master bathroom. So we'll be able to look at all of this in plan, but I just wanted to give you a feel for what's happening out here. So if I come out here, basically at the slider, you can see there's that wing down the left side, bunch of windows, door to the outside, there's a little powder room in there. This is that 3-car garage. Now, we actually added a 4th door to the garage because we wanted to give the ability to use the garage as a covered pavilion. If they ever had a big party or something out here and it rained, you could transfer into there. But and it just gives you access to get big things in and out of this courtyard. You can see there's a little grade change there. So we have our wall. We'll have a set of stairs that go up there. But then we have this big old barn in the back, and in the front here, we have a little pool house guest suite that's happening. So let's take a walk up and we'll go check out that barn because it is pretty impressive. We started our little tour down there in that corner, and I talked about the 3-car garage being up here at the end, so you can see the driveway is going to come up, feed that. But there's also the driveway comes up around the wall and around here, and then we're confronted with that big old barn. Who wouldn't want a barn like that on their property, huh? So it's a beautiful barn. You can see we're going to have some nice big doors on it. The clients have a couple trailers and some stuff that they want to store in here. So we actually had to have a really good sized barn, as well as you can see over here, it's a 16-foot door to get the trailer that they have coming in here that's going to park in here to fit in there. We'll have some associated cabinetry. There's a powder room over in the corner there. And then there's a little hangout space here for Dad. That's why we got those big oversized windows. He wanted a little kind of man cave in the corner of his barn. And you can see, you know, this is a considerable height, 15 foot, that the homeowners were also looking for a place for their kids to play basketball. So, you know, this header actually is going to come down a little, and we'll be able to put a basketball hoop up in there. So this barn will be able to double as that, basketball court. And then from the barn, you can come over here and see we go down a few steps here and cut through the wall. But basically, that's a bedroom. This is a bathroom. And then here, we're going to have a little kitchenette and then a little dining living room space with a nice big sliding glass door to the outside there. So this is a little guest house, and it has access up to the garage here. Remember, we talked about that with the steps. So yeah, and then this gives you that nice view again back at the house. There you can see the back of the house. Now it has this beautiful courtyard here. So the future plan is to put a nice pool in. We do have a little covered pavilion eating area. You can see the concrete pad is poured for it there. Yeah, one last stop before we head off to the studio. So the last bit of our tour, I walked around here. You can see this is the back side of the barn. There's the little guest house. Here's a quick pan of that Amarillo landscape. It's actually quite beautiful out here. Nice little cliffs in the backdrop there. And yeah, look down into the valley below, but it's pretty flat. Come back to the house, and this is what I wanted to point out, is that the house and the barn and the pool house actually makes what I think is a pretty incredible courtyard. I mean, the scale of this house is just perfectly comfortable. You know, we have a little movement in the roof line here, which makes it basically turns it into like a little village of buildings. And then you can see here, this is that pool house. So you get a nice courtyard happening here that you can only imagine all the pool parties and stuff that are going to happen out in here. So anyways, let's jump back to the studio. We'll take a look at this complex, and we'll talk a little bit more. I'll see you back at the studio. Hey everybody, welcome back to the office. I'm back from Texas. Hopefully you like that little hands-on tour there. It's going to be a beautiful property when it's done. Laid out really nice, coming along very well together. I'm very happy with how it's coming out. So anyways, I printed out the overall plan. I figured, hey, you know, we're used to looking at this stuff in plans, so let's take our friend here, Big Red, and let's have a look at that plan and see how all these spaces relate to each other that we saw in that little 3D walking tour. So let's have at it. All right, so you can see here I printed out basically the floor plan with some associated site characteristics to it. And of course we got our friend Big Red here who's going to join in and help us out. But to help orient ourselves, that first video we stood here looking at that front entryway there. So there's the front entryway to the house. It has this, what we call the main hall here, which is kitchen, dining, living room, basically one big room with some nice views out and some gorgeous views out that way to the pool and courtyard. A nice trellis covered backyard. Everything to the right here, we have that little connector, so we have a hallway here that connects. We have a small study for the husband, and then this is pretty much all owner suite. So we have the bedroom, we have the closet, and then we have the bath in the front here. And yeah, it's on the front of the house, but understand we're probably, I don't know, close to it, about 500 feet to the street at least there. So we're set way back on the property. That just because the bath is on the front, bath on the back, it's pretty much the same. Moving across this side, you can see there's much thicker walls here. That's the pantry, and we're going to do a video later, but we also turn that into a storm shelter by doing it out of CMU block. We have that same hallway connector here, and here we have basically the battery of bedrooms, right? So we have bedrooms 2, 3, and 4 here, and they have their bathroom. And then we have a laundry room, we have a 3/4 bath, and then we have a secondary entry mud room that connects to that. And you know, this connects to the driveway, The mudroom connects out to the pool. It gives you nice access to that bathroom with a shower from the pool courtyard area. And that finishes with a garage there, and it's 3-car garage. Remember in the video there we talked about this actually has a door to the back, and it has 2 doors here, a single and a double, but we have a single door to the back here, so that way there we can get stuff from the driveway out to that courtyard if we wanted, or you know, if the homeowners were throwing a party or something and it started raining, they can throw up that garage and use the inside of the garage here as a little pavilion. You know, upon entering the property here, you come up a driveway, and you'd obviously have the choice. If you're a guest, you're going to come this way, and there's going to be a little roundabout here and some places to park on that roundabout. If you are the homeowner, then you're going to continue down the driveway, and then you'll get into that, you know, motor court here in front of the garage. But there's a retaining wall here that comes out a small distance, and then that driveway will continue around here, and that services their barn. So we have that barn back here. Remember I said who wouldn't want a barn like that in their backyard? So they have some stuff to store in there. Like we talked, we'll have some associated cabinetry here. There's some laundry stuff, sink, small powder room, hangout space here for Dad. There's those big windows there that you saw in the video looking out, and some associated parking and trailer parking, etc. Then we have that set of stairs that comes down, so even the guests have, you know, have a parking spot in there, and they can come down into the guest house. And that guest house sits nicely on the front of that barn, and note that that's down probably about 3 feet or so from the floor of the barn, and that's basically a bedroom here. We have the bath there, and then we have the kitchen, dining, living space here. So we'll just say that's the living space. And that has that, you know, nice view out to the pool. That'll have its own little patio there. But, you know, you can see this all makes this beautiful courtyard that, you know, eventually will surround this, you know, beautiful pool here, with some nice, you know, pool decking and grill area and all that good stuff that you want. This leads up. We have a few stairs here that breach that wall. That you can get up to the barn from that property. The other thing that I wanted to point out, I didn't point out when we showed that roundabout, due to grading, we actually ended up putting a little brick wall here. It's only going to be a 2-footer, but it does a couple things. One, it certainly solves for all of our grading problems. You can see all the grading coming into that. But two, it basically puts the house on this pedestal, right? So that when you drive up, you're going to see that little wall, and things on a pedestal, you know, historically have a little bit more of an air to them, right? Because they're up and on a pedestal, right? It's a kind of who put you on a pedestal kind of thing, right? Well, we're putting this house on a pedestal, so it's even though it's that low-lying one-story ranch, it's going to feel pretty important when you drive up and you have to actually climb a set of stairs, even though there's only 3 or 4 of them, to get up to that house. It's kind of, you know, psychologically going up to that next level, right? But anyways, that's the you know, the project happening out there. Very happy with the way it's coming together, laid out. You know, you can see it, you know, in plan. It's basically a little village of buildings, right? You have this main building there, and then you have this connector piece, and then you have one arm of the house. But, and then, you know, over here you have that connector piece, and we have that second arm of the house. And then, of course, the garage and some supporting cast members in the barn and pool house. And that we repeat that wall there, and you'll see a little bit of it here, and we have a little bit of it here. So again, you have that wall thing, but this is providing that kind of visual containment that, it's kind of wild Texas out here and out here, but in here we have that nice protected environment. So, that wall certainly helps with the grade change and stuff, but we're going to face it with some nice, old Texas brick, and it's going to look like it's been there a while. But more importantly, when you're in this area, you're going to feel like you're in this safe zone psychologically. And again, we have these different arms of the project, and very simply, I made this one 10-foot ceilings. I made the connectors 8. And then I made these 9. And remember, you want to always give kind of a sense of hierarchy. You don't want everything to be the same. So that sets this up to be the most important part. It's high in the middle, and then it goes low, and then it goes back up a little, but not exactly to that height, but it is taller than the connector piece. So that sets up that, I call it coastlining, of scale there, that you have the most important part smack dab in front of you, and then you have those secondary supporting cast members, and they're connected by that low-lying connector. So it sets up a beautiful sense of hierarchy. It sets up a beautiful sense of order. You can see from the front here, this is highly symmetrical, right? It comes out, this matches this front. This one goes back further to enclose that courtyard. But when I drive up here, I get this other sense of courtyard here that is now elevated. So again, wild Texas out here, I climb these stairs and I have a nice, manicured lawn on top of the wall and landscaping and such. I've kind of stepped out of wild Texas and got into, somewhat of a psychological safe zone, although there's really no difference to an animal between these two. But you just get that sense of arrival when you climb those set of stairs, and or departure from what's happening out here, however you want to view it. And again, you have that same sense, in this courtyard here, because we have that level of protection that comes around and kind of psychologically secures that courtyard. Anyways, that's a tour of the project. Hope you enjoyed it. Alrighty. Well, when we put the cap on Big Red, we're done. It's that simple. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that tour. We'll give you some updates as we move along out there, but coming along nicely. I think windows here, those are all being here very soon, and it'll really start shaping up. We got a bunch more videos coming. We're doing some interesting stuff out there, so stay tuned for that. If you're looking for more, Steve Basic Architect on Instagram. I'm there all the time, posting stuff daily. You can find me there. You can find my daughter there, Alexandra Bazek. She's posting stuff there all the time too. And we of course have the Unbuild It podcast. Just recently we have Peter with his wingnut hat. Video just got posted. So they try to get me to wear the hat. I told them they don't pay me enough. Anyways, go check out the Unbuild It podcast. We're on YouTube now, so you get to see our antics on camera and live. So go check it out and hit that subscribe button while you're on there. And lastly, go check out all these other guys on the Build Show Network. You got Matt, Wade, Jake, and Brent just doing fabulous stuff. The science says you got to watch the video at least 7 times before you can actually grasp all the knowledge from that video. So go check out, watch mine those 7 times, and then go check out all my buddies. The beauty of this stuff is this is all real-time information. These are videos of projects we're working on right now, doing right now, answering questions to right now, solving for right now. So go check it out. But until next time, long live our buildings.